Fun fact, Fridays.
Fact, the earliest traces of Halloween can be found in a Celtic tradition called Samhain. Fact, Samhain means summer's end, and the Celts lit huge bonfires to encourage the sun to stay, and then they use these bonfires to burn crops and to sacrifice animals to the gods. Fact, the winter starting was often representative of death, and the Celts believed that the worlds of the living and the dead were closer together on Samhain, and that the spirits of the dead could walk the earth, and they often wore animal skins and the heads of animals that they had killed to avoid being possessed, and to make it so the spirits couldn't recognize them. Fact, in May of the year 609, the Pope created a holiday called All Martyrs' Day. Later that holiday was expanded to include saints, and it was called All Saints' Day, and it was moved to November 1st. Then in 1000 AD, the Catholic Church created All Souls' Day to celebrate the dead of everyone's dead, I guess. All the dead. All the dead. All Souls' Day was celebrated on November 2nd, and a lot of people think it was created in order to replace Samhain with a church-sanctioned holiday. All Saints' Day, which is on November 1st, right before All Souls' Day on November 2nd, was also called All Hallows, or All Hallowsmas. That made October 31st, the day before All Hallowsmas, All Hallows' Eve, which was shortened to Halloween eventually. Fact, a common practice on All Souls' Day was for the poor to beg for food in exchange for promises to pray for the families of the people who fed them. This is probably where the trick-or-treating tradition started. Fact, Shakespeare mentions All Hallowsmas in at least 2 of his plays, one of which he says that they were puling like a beggar on All Hallowsmas. Fact, many people believe that jack-o'-lanterns comes from a myth originating in Ireland about Stingy Jack. In these myths, Jack usually makes a deal with the devil for some sort of payment. He then tricks him and captures him and doesn't agree to release him until the devil promises not to take his soul. Eventually Stingy Jack dies, and because God doesn't want him in heaven and the devil refuses to take his soul, he's stuck wandering the earth, and the devil gives him a burning ember, which he puts into a carved turnip to hold as a lantern while he wanders the earth. People started recreating this lantern, and eventually when the tradition came to America, they started using pumpkins in replacement of turnips or potatoes or beets or whatever they used before they came to America.